Welcome back everyone, we're counting down our picks for the top 5 most epic battle scenes ever. For this list, we will only be including one film from each film series. Number 5. Battle of Veruna, Narnia. The Battle of Veruna was the first major battle in Narnia history, fought at the Forge of Veruna at the end of the long winter. The epic battle was fought between the White Witch's army, commanded by the Witch and the Minotaur General Otmin, and Aslan's army, commanded by Sir Peter and the Centaur General Aureus, and later by Aslan himself. The Narnians, led by Peter, charged to meet the enemy in the middle of the plains. Leading the charge of the Narnian side, as the battle wore on, it became clear to Peter that the fight was lost. However, Aslan reached to the witch, knocking her a foot backwards and pinning her to the ground. With her sword knocked from her hand, the witch and Aslan regarded each other for a moment before the latter finished her. Number 4. The Battle of the Blackwater, Game of Thrones. This show's first major battle, and the centerpiece of what remains its best episode to date, set the standard for pretty much everything to come. The amphibious assault on King's Landing by the forces of would-be kings Stannis Baratheon divided our sympathies. Are Stannis and Melisandre worse than Joffrey and Cersei? Is Davos better than Tyrion? You'd better choose in a hurry. The battle also featured a linchpin spectacle, a dazzling green explosion of wildfire that sank a large part of the Baratheon fleet before it could make the land. The cost of war was emphasized in the means, in the screams of the burning soldiers, and the terror faced by non-combatants like Cersei and Sansa. To say nothing of the way, imagine that Sandor the Hound Clegane simply quit fighting and stormed off. The Battle of the Blackwater even featured the now standard last-minute surprise attack that turns the tide, this time led by Tywin Lannister and Loras Tyrell as the first act in the two great families' alliance. Number 3. The Battle of Stirling, Braveheart. Although not historically accurate, the Battle of Stirling simply has it all. Outnumbered underdogs, sneering villains, cinematography and editing that actually allow you to follow the tactics involved, and the fist-pumping climax makes you want to quit your day job, grab a wooden pike and declare independence for the long shanks in your life. Hands down, it's one of the most epic battle scenes ever made in films. Mel Gibson was nominated for the Oscar of Best Director and Best Picture. Number 2. The Thermopylae Battle, 300. Based on a real battle of a true story, the opening salvo of the Second Persian War. The Spartan king Leonidas, played here by Gerard Butler, did defend the hot gates in northern Greece with 300 soldiers against an invading Persian army that Herodotus, the father of history, numbered at 1 million strong. Snyder's film is stylistically enough accurate, and he's never topped the final battle of the 300, which starts with Leonidas, Gerard Butler, nearly spearing Xerxes. Each were the Spartans literally choosing to die on their feet rather than live on their knees. Number 1. The Battle of Helm's Deep, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Some might argue that the Return of the King's Battle of Pelennor Fields should have made this list. It was bigger and flashier for sure, and featured the series' high point and one of the film history's greatest scenes, the ride of the Rohirrim. Nobody can deny it. It's a big screen spectacle at its most glorious. But its mighty scale, and at least at the time, jaw-dropping visual effects didn't offer anything we had already seen in the previous films, Battle of Helm's Deep, which barely beats it out. Peter Jackson brought Theoden's almost last stand to life in a way that felt painfully real, despite the presence of elves and wizards, by first firmly establishing that only a miracle could save our hopelessly outnumbered, backed into a corner heroes from the hordes of Saruman. When the hammer fell, you felt the unaffordable death of every defender like a punch in the gut. You felt those walls getting breached, first by ladders, then by the mine, then by battering rams. You felt the frantic desperation of the dwindling, exhausted survivors as they realized there was increasingly little they could do, no matter how bold, to stop an army of Uruk-hai from beating the last of the defenses and slaughtering the innocents they protected. And then, when Gandalf and Eomer arrived and saved the day, the 11th hour, you breathed a sigh of relief and realized you were drenched in sweat. Now that is movie magic.